coming out here. Really appreciate it. Quick introduction, my name is Benjamin Cowell. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of First Connect Digital. My background, I come from working with Merkle and Dentsu. I ran about a third of Amazon Web Services digital marketing over the last couple of years, and then kind of went from there into the lead gen world. I was spending about 120 million a year on lead gen, and I realized that the entire industry is just fraught with problems. And so came in to try to help clean some of that up and do it better. And also on the agency side, one of the biggest things I realized over the years is there's just so much waste in the lead world because people generate leads and then they treat them like numbers in a database. They don't actually know how to nurture them. So I want to talk a bit today about what does it mean to nurture a lead. So first of all, some of the problems with lead nurturing. People forget that leads are people, not numbers. It's gotten to the point where we have spreadsheets with thousands and thousands of potential leads for our business, and we don't even know their names. We don't have any personality to them. They're literally numbers on a spreadsheet, and we're treating them like data points. And the truth is, a piece of data never bought anything. What buys something is humans and human connection. Automation, it prioritizes efficiency, but you don't get the meaningful connection. You can, most people don't. And so that's a huge problem you see too. And it's keeping your leads being nothing more than a data point. Nurturing feels robotic. I don't know about you guys, I probably get 1,000 emails a day. And of those, at least 999 of them are, hey, just checking in. Hi, how you doing? Hey, wanted to follow up. You guys all get those, I'm assuming? When's the last time you actually clicked followed up and got back to that person and closed and then said, yeah, that sounds great, and it closed the deal? And yet we're all doing it every day. Why? It's easy, the numbers are there. We're also looking at some of the wrong metrics. So what's the result of this type of stuff? Low engagement, stalled deals, missing opportunities. In my experience, I've seen companies literally waste $20 to $30 million a year on generating leads that then they didn't nurture properly. They got old and then they replaced them and nothing ever happened with it just because they weren't willing to take the time to personalize and nurture. So one of the things I want to talk about a bit is the psychology of nurturing. Something a lot of people fail to realize is people don't make business decisions rationally. They don't do it because it's the best price or the best value or the best product. People purchase on small, irrational triggers that make a decision. When I walk up and go, hey Sean, my name's Ben, how you doing today?
Great.
I love that watch. Where'd you get that? That right there will make a business decision. He'll close a deal with me down the road because it was human. You make a connection. Little triggers. I have seen deals, I've seen a $20 million deal close over someone mailing someone a bottle of wine on their birthday. Question for you all. How many of you know your top 10 prospects' first names? Show of hands. How many of you know your top 10 prospects' birthdays? Show of hands. And how many of you sent a birthday present to your top 10 prospects last year? I'm actually running a research survey right now. I'm still getting a little more data. I'm working on a white paper specifically on some of these topics in nurture. The preliminary data shows that about 70% of marketers know their top 10 prospects' first names. About 30% of them know their prospects' birthdays. And about 1% actually did anything about it. We get all this data, we research, we buy it, we do everything we can, we learn everything we can about people, but if we don't do anything with it, it's not serving us. So remember, smaller rational triggers. Reaching out and saying hi, it doesn't mean you have to send a gift to everyone, but reach out, give a call. We all walk around with these all day, every day, yet we never type in 10 digits to actually talk to a person. We send them an email. We need to get off the email, get on the phone. Also, patience. Patience builds trust. Persuasion can backfire. If you get pushy, you drive people away. In the B2B world where I mostly work, your generally sales cycles are going to be anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. Depending on the company, it could be shorter, it could be longer. One of the things you see a lot though in the marketing world is people lose patience. They want results now. And what happens is they forget about bringing value, they forget about what matters to their clients, and instead they start thinking about what matters to me. Well, what matters to me is I got to close this deal because I got to make my numbers or my boss is going to be on my ass next quarter. Well, guess what? Your clients don't care about that. So what you need to do is identify their motivations, concerns, figure out what's actually driving the decision. Do they need your solution because they can't function without it? Is it a nice to have? Did they just get some new funding and they go, ooh, I can get a shiny new toy? All those are going to be a different approach. And you need to understand that. You need to understand your prospects and understand your clients so you can identify those motivations. Because once you identify those motivations, those become your selling points. And some practical strategies for human-centered nurturing. Personalized nurture, even at scale. Well, you might say, well, how do you achieve this? How can you personally nurture 100,000, let's say, prospects? DCO, dynamic content optimization. If you guys have been around here, you've probably seen 100 AI solutions already presented. AI bots can do this now. If you start taking your data and treating it as more than a first name, company name, and mind you, we've all gotten the email, hello, first name, just wanted to reach out, right? Take it a step farther. Personalization does not mean using someone's first name, because honestly, everybody knows that it's just being put in there automatically. Personalization is not putting your company name in there. What can be personalization, is an AI bot that, let's say, goes through, builds a profile of those leads, picks out something interesting about them that, let's say, it found on Facebook, writes a message about that, and then sends it through. You can still do that at scale through automation now. But once again, it comes back to, you gotta craft personalized nurturing. Even at scale, it must be personalized, and beyond giving their name, you need to actually connect. Also, you need to use content and experiences, not just emails. For example, today here I am speaking to you. I now have a whole group of people that have at least a face and a name now, and then I could walk up to and say hi, right? And if I'm just sending an email, well, it's landing in with the other 1,000, there's no personalization, there's no humanity, there's nothing there that's really going to make me go and engage with you. Start using your content to drive, not your email. The email is just a vehicle, the content is what's gonna bring people in. And practice strategic patience. You need to know when to pause and when to push. People go through sales cycles. There's lots of things for decisions. Maybe it's not the right time. A story that I once heard was there was a salesman and he went to the same company every single Wednesday morning to sell this guy a product for his company, and it was like $1 million product. Showed up every Wednesday. The guy never purchased from him, but always told him, come back next week. He did this every week for a year. Well, finally, after about a year, he went on a Wednesday, he had a doctor's appointment in the morning and missed his morning meeting with the guy. So he showed up that evening instead and closed the deal. How did he close it? It turns out the guy was a diabetic, and in the mornings until around noon, with his blood sugar, he just never made any decisions because he didn't function properly. This guy had the patience, he didn't give up. He knew, he never pushed, he just had the patience. And then he tried something new. And so that ties into another part, and that is you've got to test. Don't go every Wednesday morning for a year. After you've gone 2 or 3 Wednesday mornings, try a Thursday or a Wednesday night. You don't know what you're gonna find. You gotta be constantly testing. And then build value-driven touch points that resonate. At the end of the day, people, you need to provide them value first and foremost. Nobody cares about you or your business. They care about themselves and their business. And so if you want them to purchase from you, you need to show the value for them. And so a touch point is not a, hi, just checking in, how's it going? Hey, just following up, because there's no value to that. Actually, it's an annoyance, it wastes my time, and it's another email in my inbox. But if you use value-driven touch points, and mind you, it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be expensive. Go online at Google, type in the category of the industry you work in into Google News, and look at the headlines. Find a topic that's interesting that you could add your 2 cents to and send that to your prospect. Hey, just came across this article. Thought it was absolutely fascinating about such and such. Wanted to share it with you. Now you've created a touch point that has a value to it as well. There's a reason for them to engage. And then, well, I know I already said it a few times. I have a whole slide for it too. Move beyond email. People are sick of it. We get too many. There's some research I was reading just the other day. It's not an issue of open rates. The issue is follow-up. We are down to the lowest follow-up rate on email I think we've ever had. And AI is exacerbating and making it worse because it's increasing the volume and mostly decreasing the quality of our emails right now, to the point where it's going to die as a tactic because there's just too much noise. It's become junk mail of the US Postal Service, if you will. Email's dying. You gotta start moving beyond. How do you do that? Leverage storytelling through blogs, videos, case studies. Go out, tell your stories. It has a story to tell about your company, about your history, about your growth and your experience, and even stories to tell about how you've help other people achieve success through your products and services. Get out and tell those stories. One of the greatest resources we have available to us right now is this little thing called the internet and a webcam. Everyone now I do some podcasting. My entire live stream setup cost me under $150. I got a mic, a ring light, and a webcam, and that's all it takes. And you can start creating content that actually drives engagement, tell your story, really connect with people. That's what's going to, at the end of the day, turn to revenue. Host webinars, events, create shared experiences. We're all here today having a shared experience. Do this yourself. It doesn't have to be a huge event. Go to your prospect list and say, we're throwing a party next week in downtown. Love to have you over for a drink. When's the last time you guys hosted your prospects? Never, right? Think outside the box. Everyone's so caught up in digital marketing now and in the numbers games, they're forgetting what it's actually about, connecting with other people. Another thing, use social listening. Use social listening to join relevant conversations. Find people that are talking about topics that your company relates to. There's plenty of platforms out there that do this. There's AI doing it now, everything else. Use some social listening, follow the conversations, and become a part of them. Don't do it through your business either. People don't connect with businesses, they connect with people. So use your personal LinkedIn to follow up with these people, etc. Get out there, engage, find people in the topics that you care about too and you can provide for, and then start engaging with them. Join those conversations and become a relevant player in that industry. And offer tools and insights for specific pain points as well. One of the biggest things with email you see is every pitch just feels generic. It's like, we can solve your problem. No, you can't. Get specific. Hit a single point. Let's say you offer 10 different services. Pick the one that's the lowest hanging fruit for you, put together what the pain is, and here's how we're gonna sell it. And you gotta address pain points. People buy on pain. Has anyone ever gone to the store and bought Tylenol because they thought it was a pretty bottle? No. You buy Tylenol because you have a headache, right? You buy on pain. Paint that pain for people and then show them how your solution alleviates it, and that's where you're going to drive that interest. How do you measure success without losing the human touch? We're a data-driven world now. I come from big data. I said working with the biggest players in this. And the thing is, the attribution models, they mislead. You have to look beyond them. Because the truth is, nothing sells on a single touch point. In fact, on average, it takes 6 to 7 touch points before a purchase decision is made. Well, the problem is there's no tracking right now that's really showing that flow through the 6 or 7 touch points. You don't even necessarily know where they're all coming from. One of the things I've seen this lead to is people say, well, this campaign's not producing, so they shut it down. They shut it down, all of a sudden they stop generating revenue. And they go, well, what happened? This campaign's the one driving, no, that wasn't doing anything. Well, it actually turns out that campaign, sure, it didn't drive the clicks, but that's the one where they saw it and they got interested in it, and then they decided to Google search you, right? You've got to understand, and this is something, if you're familiar with Rory Sutherland, he talks about a lot. In marketing, we don't use regular math. 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 1. The same way with economies of scale, efficiencies go up, algorithms optimize better the larger you get. It's the same way that Amazon is a great place for everyone here to go buy 1 item. It's a terrible place for one person here to buy 40 items. It's the same thing in marketing. You can't always draw a straight line 1 to 1, but you don't want to accidentally cut off the parts that are actually doing the work. Your touch points very frequently aren't what you think they are, and the attribution models out there, they will mislead you. You need to understand your client's journey more than just a touch point. How can you go about this? So, something nobody does anymore, qualitative data. Once again, show of hands. When's the last time any of you went out and actually ran a survey with your clients? Talk to them about what they like. Why not? Our greatest source of information is the clients we're already working with. They like your company. They're already giving you money. Why not talk to them and learn from them about what it is that can help you resonate maybe with others? Bring qualitative in and then use that to supplement your quantitative data. Mind you, the world does run on data, and the quantitative data is incredibly important. But at the same time, without the qualitative, you're missing the underlying stories and you're gonna miss the things that really matter. A qualitative approach is huge, and it's a way to keep that human touch involved. Also, tracking engagement signals. Everybody knows, CPC, CPM, number of clicks, ROAS, yada, yada, yada. We have our standard metrics. Everybody uses the same one. Anyone here happen to know what the average cost per lead is, if you will, using Google Ads? No, because we all think of it as a CPC or a CPM model. Turns out the average cost per lead that comes in your company and fills out a form from Google Ads, it's a legitimate lead, is actually about $42. Yet everyone thinks of Google Ads as it costs $2.50 to $6 a click depending on their industry. It doesn't. It costs you $42 per click that actually matters, right? People don't realize that because they're just looking at that quantitative data. They're not going a step farther to actually say, okay, well then what? And what actually came in. And then trace revenue, but value a crooked path to conversion. We've all done backwards math in this industry. We've all had to figure out how to back into things. Embrace the crooked path. One of the things in marketing we face the most is our CFOs don't believe in marketing because they see us as a bottomless money pit. And the truth is, you got to spend money to make money. Well, guess what? You as a marketer, if you cannot trace your marketing back to revenue, you're failing. Marketers all the time say, oh, no, we don't, we're separate from that. We're about the, yes, you are about the brand. We are a hell of a lot more than revenue. But guess what? If you can't draw the line back to revenue, it's the beginning of the end. Figure out how to draw that squiggly line and then tell those stories. The CFO will never like you, but you can convince the CEO that it works. And if you can show that line, and mind you, that line can be very squiggly sometimes. Learn how to draw it. That's where you can prove your value. If you can tell the story and someone can understand the story, you can prove value. And then track and optimize. You have to be measuring conversion rates. At the end of the day, if it's not what your efforts, if they don't result in revenue, if they don't result in something, you're wasting your time and money. I have seen and wasted hundreds of millions of dollars of clients' money because they make you. It's kind of weird. The truth is, if you're not A/B testing at all times, you're leaving money on the table. Because if I have the greatest piece of content in the entire world right here, how do I know that B isn't actually twice as good? But I just never tried it. A/B, and every time you A/B, at the end of your A/B test, your winner's your new A, and you darn well better get a new B up. It needs to be, our industry moves so fast that the message that works today may not work tomorrow. We need to be constantly iterating, constantly testing. And that's where the data really helps, is in your testing and understanding. And moving on here, some key takeaways. You can treat leads as people with problems for which you have a solution. Nurturing's an art form that automation supports, it doesn't replace. If you're using automation to do everything, you are losing the human connection, and you are going to leave revenue on the table. Patience wins. Long-term nurturing is what closes deals. And then this last point is, I would argue, the biggest point of this whole thing. You need to live in your prospect's world to earn their trust. At the end of the day, not one person in the world cares about your business as much as you do. And no one ever will, nor should they ever be expected to. Unless you give them 50% equity, don't expect them to treat it like their baby too. Well, guess what? Your prospects feel the same way about their companies. They don't care about yours, they care about theirs. So what do you have to do? You have to live in their world. Think like them. Don't sell. Solve problems and provide value. If you can go and talk to someone, uncover, as we were talking about before, ask the questions. If you can find the pain points and you have a legitimate solution for them, you can then show them that solution. You can paint that pain and show it what it is. You can show them the solution you can provide and how it can alleviate that pain, and you can show them the alternative of what happens if they don't. Now you don't have to sell. All you've done is shown them that they have a problem, you have a solution, convince them that your thing fixes the solution. It's not a sales conversation anymore, it's just a question of, okay, how soon can we get it going? Don't sell on features, don't sell on price. Sell on solving problems. Because at the end of the day, all of our businesses are strapped. Everyone's having a tough time. There's competition. If you're in AI right now, you have more competition here than you probably even thought coming in. If you're in marketing, it's never ending. This is the rat race we're in, and it's getting scarier every day. So live in your prospects world. Join their rat race. Understand what keeps them up at night. Forget about what keeps you up at night, because no one else is going to solve that for you. I need to figure out what keeps all of you up at night. You guys need to be figuring out what keeps me up at night. Because if I could go live in that world and understand your industry better than you do, now I can come back and I can approach it as I'm a member of this, with that, if you will, business empathy, if you will. I could come back and say, here's a solution, because you know what they're doing. You're living in their world. So instead of selling from your perspective, you want to be talking and negotiating from their perspective at all times. Why does it matter? Human-centered nurturing, it boosts engagement and revenue. At the end of the day, if you're not staying human in your marketing, if you're going too far on the automation, you're leaving money on the table. Next, challenge conventional tactics. Embrace relationships. When's the last time you just called up one of your prospects and said, hey, I'm going to be in town next week. I'd love to take you to dinner. That's where you're going to close your deals. The old adage was deals close on the golf course. Honestly, most people don't play golf anymore because we can't afford it. It's too damn hot outside. So you know where they do close though? They don't close in the boardroom. They don't close on the Zoom call. They close in the bar. They close at the after party. They close at the conference. Get out there and make human connections with your prospects, and that's when you're going to turn them into clients. My recommendation, take one concept from this. Try it out. Just give it a shot. I can't guarantee you it's going to work for you. It will, but I can't guarantee it. Give it a shot. See how it goes. And really, we need to stop looking at prospects as numbers on a spreadsheet. We need to start understanding that our prospects are humans with their own problems, and we have solutions that we can bring to them, and that's where the value is. And when you bring value, that's what turns into revenue. So, love to take any questions, chat, anything else? Thoughts, anyone? Yes? My podcast is called that's a tough one. It was Morning Coffee Live, but then I stopped doing it in the morning, so then it became Marketing Colored Glasses. I like the name, but then I don't like the name, so yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, looking at Benjamin Cowell, I have all my podcasts are there on X and YouTube as well. I've done I have 34 episodes out right now, not too many. And if anyone here would ever like to jump on a podcast, if you've ever tried it or if you're interested in trying it, reach out to me. I'd love to host you on there. I'll literally just platform you and we'll talk your life story and what you're doing in business for an hour to my audience. More than happy. It's a great experience. If you're not doing it already, get out there on social. That's where everyone lives now. If you're not there, you're not in front of your clients. Any other questions? Yes. That's all, yeah.
Question, especially on social, how would you convert what you're trying to do with this strategy into nurturing leads directly onto social media?
How would I approach it on social?
Yeah.
Okay. So, actually, let me come back over here so it doesn't scream at me again. There. Okay, so her question was, how can you take these strategies and apply them directly to social media? I think the best way to do that is a combination of personal and automation. So one of the things I like to do is anytime I'm reaching out to a prospect on social media, I haven't found a better solution yet. I've actually been talking to some people here who help them find me one. I've been creating dossiers using AI, making a marketing dossier on people. I'm putting them in, I'm having the AIs go through, do a background search basically on people, find everything it can online, and then come back and let me know what's their history, what's their work experience, how many kids they have, what's the name of their dog, the whole 9 yards. I get every bit of information I can. Then I take that output, I feed that into just a chat GPT model that I build a custom GPT that you can build in chat GPT. I'm assuming most of you are familiar with that model. I built one out that allows me to then put that dossier in, and it'll then come back with social media content that then ties into stuff from that dossier to personalize, and then also attach to whatever is going on, latest trends, whatever it is in the industry I'm talking about. So for social media, I like to use a combination of automation to get messages out to a lot of people. Like for example, I'm working on the white paper right now on lead nurture. When that's ready, I'm going to use social media to distribute that. But beyond that, social media is your best place for just direct outreach and for meeting new people. If you're not on there every day for at least 10 minutes, just connecting with some people, you're missing out on a treasure trove of information, data, and honestly revenue down the road. But yeah, I'd say as much personalization as possible and use AI to get you there. Anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, sir.
Everything is human and AI.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, let's say, do you have any job openings
I mean,
for someone to do both of them?
any what's you said?
Job openings.
Not currently, no. Mind you, because of what's going on with AI right now, this is the perfect time to create the job opening and just go out there and pitch it. Yeah. Real quickly, as mentioned on AI, he was asking, do we have a job opening for someone who can kind of bridge this gap between social and AI? I said, not right now, but the thing is, it's out there, the jobs are. One thing I did want to touch on though is with AI, everything we're doing now, I see really, it's going to be the next 18 to 24 months. It's all going to shift. Everything we're doing today is going to change. The world's going to look different from, it's going to be a completely different perspective. So my thought is, if you're looking to like actually get into this field, learn the dev, but don't lose the theory, if you will. AI is getting there really fast. It's going to be perfect in a couple more years. So really right now it's about skill up as fast as you can and learn how to work with AI as best possible so that you can maintain your relevancy in the new era. Anybody else have any questions? No? Well, thank you all so much for joining. I did record this as well, so I will be, anyone who I've scanned, I will make sure I send the recording out. Also, my booth is directly behind me. Feel free to drop on by if you want to chat or follow up or learn more about kind of what we do at First Connect Digital. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the convention and hope to see you all next year.